Now it's time for News Extra here on KNEB, brought to you by Geering Civic Center. And here again is Kevin Mooney.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. We have Scottsbluff County Board Chair Mark Masterton here with us. We're going to talk about issues impacting the county over the next year or so. Mr. Masterton is starting his 20th year as board chair.
I think that's right.
Is that right?
I think so.
So 20 years. And then you look at all the other time you've served on the board. Why, what makes you think about serving as a commissioner? What kind of drives that thought?
Well, first of all, it's hugely interesting. I mean, it's a real knowledge grower, and I enjoy doing it. And, I think that there's things that we can get done in Scottsbluff County that have never been done before. So it's kind of fun doing that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a lot of things to talk about. Corrections is number one. The adult jail construction is moving along. You've enclosed the medical unit addition that you guys are putting on, and then you go in and then do some renovations inside. What will this construction bring for you guys that you don't have now?
Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, a much bigger medical unit. We had basically 1.5, maybe 2 beds in the medical unit before. It seems like we need more and more of those, so we are up to 10 in the new unit. So that's a big step. The second thing is that we've got adding 72 beds. And the 72 beds are going to go a long way to alleviating our problem of having to ship customers, clients, out to, we've had them in Lexington, we've had them in Kimball County, we've had them in Morrill County, we've had them in Box Butte County, we've had them in Torrington. And that's an expensive way to do things. Never dreamed that we would have to have this many beds in a jail in Scottsbluff County, but we do. So,
yeah, crime's a big problem here. And when you decided to add all these beds, you're using what used to be the juvenile area. So now we had a juvenile problem, but you guys are going to be trying to fix that, hopefully finalize something at the next meeting to where you'll have a place to put juveniles, right?
Well, we had a good juvenile facility, and 2 years ago the legislature passed LB 605, which changed the way that they allowed us to take care of juvenile prisoners. And we actually charged the state to hold juveniles. And when 605 came along, that changed, and they weren't paying us anymore, and they weren't giving us the juveniles to put in or to take care of. And we had about 32 beds, I believe, for juveniles. And when we finally closed that 2 years or a year and a half ago in June, we had 2 juveniles in the facility and 29 beds that were going to waste. So we said, well, we're not going to do juveniles anymore. We're going to put those adults that we were sending to other counties and other parts of the state, we put them in that area. And that reduced the amount, but it did not solve the problem. So now we've contracted with Torrington for prisoners, and we're trying to keep them closer. And when we have the new facility done, hopefully we'll be able to contain all of our prisoners in one spot.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
It'd be great. It'd be
nice. And meanwhile,
cost savings for the county.
Yeah, this new contract with Laramie County would maybe ship those problem juveniles to Laramie County if you can get that done at the next meeting.
That's a temporary solution, yes, and we will get that done. I'm sure of that. Because right now it's just a horrible situation where we've got to take juveniles from any one of the communities in Scottsbluff County, and we got to ship them to either Lincoln or Madison County or Omaha, and that's 400 and plus miles one way, 800 miles for a round trip, and we've got to pay either a service to do that, or we have our sheriff deputies do it, and that is just hugely expensive.
Yeah. So hopefully we get that done, and like you said, it looks like we should get it done at the next meeting. Right?
Got a temporary solution in Laramie County, and that should help us. And it's a ton closer than Lincoln.
Yeah, a lot closer. All right, we'll take a break. Be back right after this.
Having food that is consistently great is something worth talking about. Great food makes a great event. That's why the Geering Civic Center goes the extra mile to serve great meals at every event we host. Along with the caterers, the meat shop, we are a great partnership. hosting events for over 23 years in our elegant, column-free ballroom while never charging room rental if food is purchased. Visit GearingCivicCenter.com or call 436-6888.
Back on News Extra, we have Scottsbluff County Board Chair Mark Masterton with us. We've talked corrections in the first segment. We're going to talk some other things now here in this second segment. The landfill situation, you guys are going to be talking about that maybe this year, maybe in future years. There's a number of locations that are being considered by both cities and the county for this new landfill once we finally get really working on it?
There are. Rules change, and landfills that we have right now in Geering is filling up faster than they ever expected it to. I think there's a misconception around there that this is already a done deal and everybody knows where it's going to go. And I can assure your listeners right now that there's no way that we know where that's going to go at this point in time. There is EPA testing, there's water testing, there's depth testing, there's percolation tests, there's all kinds of things that we have to do to get any landfill sited, and that's usually a 5-year process. So at least 4, and the site has not been decided. We're checking all aspects of what we can do at this point.
Yeah, Bald Mountain, we know, because those people have come forward and said, we know you guys are looking at us, but that hasn't been selected as the site.
It's not. No, it definitely has not been selected as the site. And like I say, there's a lot of testing to go on. And I can appreciate everybody's position on that too, because there's certain things that municipalities, counties, and cities have to do. And, landfills, we've got sanitation sewers, we've got airports, we've got all kinds of things that are not pleasant to have next to your house. And we understand that, and we're very sympathetic to that. But the fact remains that something has to be done. We have to take care of the solid waste. When you throw it in the wastebasket and put it in your garbage container out by the side of the street, it doesn't go away. Something has to be done.
All right. Concrete plant, real quick. You guys made the decision on Kroll to give them what amounts to a conditional use permit for that ag zoning to do their project. Now, you have conditions on this permit, so your work is not done because you still have to kind of monitor exactly what's going on when they do start, right?
Yeah, by definition, a conditional use permit is exactly that. And we put conditions on what Kroll can do in that particular spot. That was a very difficult decision. There was a organic farm that was right next to that, and they didn't want a concrete plant next to them, which everybody can understand. But when you weigh the benefits to the general population and to what we can do and what we have to do for the community in terms of economic development and progress, and there are some things that you just have to bite the bullet and do.
Yeah,
not always pleasant, but
yeah. And they have conditions that they have to meet, berms.
They do.
And
there's fences and there's berms and there's
landscaping,
and there's actually entrances to the facility too. I think they're changing those, and so there's a lot of things that need to be done and a lot of things that need to be complied with by Kroll.
Okay, let's talk about the airport real quick and the new airline coming in. You're excited about it because. First of all, it's a much bigger airline that's coming in, United, rather than a commuter airline, right?
There is an economies of scale. In the past, we've had, I don't know how far back you want to go, to Rocky Mountain, to Great Lakes, to Penn Air. Most of those, or all of them, have been relatively smaller companies, and they have trouble getting pilots. And especially when the federal government changed the rules and regulations that required pilots to have like 2,000 hours, when before they could do it with I think 1,000. So now we've got United, which is kind of backing this. They're a huge airline, it's one of the biggest, maybe the biggest in the world, I don't know. And they're going to have plenty of pilots and plenty of aircraft to keep us going. The key to this right now is that we've gone through at least 4 airlines. And this is the biggest and probably the most efficient and probably has the most equipment, airplanes, pilots, and so on. We need to support that as a community. Everybody that's flying, the flying community, we need to support United this time. If you've got a flight coming up in the next 6 months, please book it. out of Scotts Bluff. And actually, it's going to be a whole lot cheaper, too.
It's important to do it, otherwise we're going to lose it, right?
We will. And if we lose this one, we probably won't get another airline very soon. And I'm just hoping everybody will use it. I know personally I've got a trip coming up in late February, March, and I'm going to be booking that flight through the Scotts Bluff.
Yeah, my wife's got a business trip in next month.
Yeah.
She's booking it. It's about, I think it was around $58, $59 one way each.
Yeah.
So.
I think it'll probably settle in around 150 round trip. I think that's where it'll probably settle in. But when you consider if you go on a 10-day trip and you go to Denver and it costs you $12 to park your car, just park it at DIA, you're looking at $120 right there.
Yeah.
Let alone your gasoline and time and maybe stay at a hotel going down there. So, it is a huge deal flying out of Scotts Bluff.
Okay. All right. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming in, Mark.
I appreciate it, Kevin. I always enjoy visiting with you.
You bet.